Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Wednesday, February the 3rd, the year's 2021. Let's talk trading. Be willing to learn. Okay, as you all know, these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. Be willing to learn. What does that mean, or what do I mean by that? Well, one of the problems that I see people have when they go to learn something is they want things the way they think they should be. In other words, they don't come to the class or to the lesson with an empty mind. Bruce Lee, has that saying, empty your cup so you can learn. So when traders come to me and they want to learn, they usually, and this is so funny, they'll take what I say or what I give them, and then they'll put a chart up, and probably 9 times out of 10, there'll be a squiggly line on it, or there'll be some lower indicator. In other words, they will add to what I have. Now, the thing is, when you're starting out, that's not the time to do that. It really isn't. You have to empty your cup, come to the class with a blank sheet of paper, and take notes and learn the lesson, that's being taught. Otherwise, you're not going to learn the lesson. What you're going to do is you're going to take what you already think you know and you're going to add it to the lesson, and you're just going to come up with a mishmash of a mess. I've seen this happen over and over and over again. You know, what has to happen is you have to learn the method, the system, as it is being taught. You don't add to it, you don't take away from it, you don't modify anything. You learn the lesson. And then, once you learn the lesson, if you master it and you know how it works and you can work it, that's when you can take something away or add something to or modify something slightly. But for the most part, from the from day one, you're probably at least, I would say, somewhere between 3 and 6 months, if not longer, away from modifying it. Now, some people are quick learners. They might pick it up really quick. They might get it, the first day. And then, after a week or two, they might master it. And then they're going to say, well, you know what? If I make this slight tweak here, or if I add this here or take that out, it's going to be better for me. So you really have to look in the mirror, and before you go to a class, ask, are you willing to learn? And it doesn't just have to be trading. It can be anything, because there's always that one person in the class that thinks they're smarter than the teacher, and they raise their hand and they try and show off. I know, because I am that guy. I do that sometimes. You know, uh, Usually what happens is I go in, and within about, 5 minutes, they'll say something, and I'll just, my BS detector goes off, and that's it. But I've learned to temper that a bit, because there still might be some little piece of something that I might be able to learn from them. So, that's just what happens. I mean, it happens a lot when I'm around. Okay, let me just show you why I'm talking about this. Here's a chart, and I've written some new indicators. Okay, I've written the multimeter order block, the multimeter imbalance, TRO 2021 imbalance, and TRO 2021 order block, because a friend of mine says he's been having success with this, and I've heard about this stuff before, and so I said, okay. He sent me some PDFs, so I read them. So I have to come to this with a blank mind. And one way I do that is I have to, if I understand it, then I can code it. If I can't code it, then obviously I don't understand it. So coding these indicators helps me know whether or not I've learned the system. So I took the documents as is, and for the imbalance, that was real easy for me to see. The order block, I wasn't too sure, so I talked with my friend, and he told me about that because I guess it was yesterday I had the indicator, the higher low, lower high indicator that I wrote, but that didn't quite get the essence of the order block. So um, and it's funny because once I got this thing down, it's really a very simple equation. Um, right here, this why is this an order block? It's because this candle, this candle here engulfed this candle, the body of it, and the close is above the high. So what happened there? That means this candle is the order block. That's all there is to it. That candle's the order block. And so back here you can see this candle engulfed that candle, so this candle's the order block. Now I might have to check and say, hey, this candle was actually a red candle, or maybe it was a doji. So I have to confirm that this is the order block. If not, I might have to tweak the indicator a bit. But this is my first attempt, so I might not have it quite down yet. And I put the sweet spots up there and the 3-level ZZ just to see how well this works with what I already know. And so what the order block is, you see how price shot out of here. Now, there's another one, and that's the imbalance. And that's a pretty simple equation too. If the low of this candle is above the high of this candle, then you have an imbalance. But this is where I think I might have discovered something. When this candle opened, there was an imbalance because the low was here and the high was there. Look what happened. And so you see this a lot when price is going up, the new candle, it'll come back down. It's heading back towards that order block. So that's an opportunity to actually get short. And it's also an opportunity when it pulls back there. It's like, hey, I could take some profit. I could take my profit off the table, comes back, hits the order block again, and then I ride it up again. Now, what just happened with this candle right here? This is not an order block. It engulfed, but you can see here, it engulfed the body, but it wasn't lower than the low. So that's not an order block. So this is what I've been learning. This is what I've been playing with here. And of course, it seems to be pretty robust because it's working on the different time frames here. So you can see here, this was not an order block down on M1. And then see here on M5, there's all these imbalances, and price is going to want to come back up and fill those imbalances. That's just kind of what price likes to do. And so you can see here, I've got the indicator set, so it'll show all of the previous imbalances, whether or not, you can turn them, only show the current open ones or show them all. While I'm in learning mode, I want to see them all so I can see, yeah, this is how it's working out. And it seems like it's a real simple concept. And I started playing with this today. As I was coding, I was trading, I was just basically trading $1 a pip. And I think I probably netted enough to buy lunch, if not dinner, on these little trades here. So that's what I've been doing with the new code. So that'll probably come out in the February batch 2 of the 2021 donationals. So let's go back to the charts. Monthly, you can see here we entered the wick zone. We're back in that candle body of the previous month. We still have one open gap here for the week. We're 33 pips off of the low. Okay, this was the, let's see, where is the opening range for the week was here. And you can see we broke out of that low again at 55. Came down. And if you look left, somebody was saying, explain look left. So here, I'm on the daily chart. I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4 lower wicks here. And so I'm looking to see if these buyers want to push price back up. Year to date analyze, we're right there 2 pips above the yearly open. Here we are, that inside bar. Once again, if you took the inside bar trade at 48 to the south, that would pay off. Range, only one pair over 100 for the day. Pound in at 64. Now, 64 pip range. Usually the pound is somewhere around 80 or better. And you can see here, we're just pretty much range bound. So I don't know if it's going to put in a breakout of the previous day's high or low. If not, then today will become an inside bar, and that means tomorrow should be fun. The pivot point was close to the open. It got taken out a long time ago. The rats, the green rats feasted, the red rats feasted, and the range is just barely large enough at 64 right there. Once again, we did take out the pivot. Took out the pivot. And I know there's always people wanting me to say, well, if you got all these systems and they're good, why do you keep going after other systems? It's just one of those things. I kind of like to learn. It's a challenge. I like the code. And you never know if you stumble across something better. I mean, if I would have stopped with the buy zone, I never would have found the rat zone or the wick zone. You know, all of them pay off. So, you know, I wouldn't have found the fade to gap, you know, to the pivot. There's so many of these systems that I wouldn't have either learned and or discovered if I hadn't, you know, kept going. And here's the wick zone, as you can see, in and out of that wick zone. Well, here we go. Daily a DSR, the dynamic support resistance trade there. Is moving up, and simple wall mall lines here with the sweet spots gold. But back here, remember I talked about those imbalances? Well, look what just happened. Price came off of this 2-ball, and it just filled all those imbalances. And that's one of the things that I was looking for in this trade. Now, there's this order block sitting up here, and there's an imbalance sitting here. So it looks like price needs to come back up here, and there's another little imbalance right there. So that's how I'm using these indicators, as it's allowing me to see places where I can really refine my entries. Now, what just happened here? You can see here we've got an imbalance and an order block, but the way I wrote my indicator that paints it, it won't paint this until this candle closes, because otherwise it to me that would just mess up the chart. But here on the multimeters, you can see it told me order block imbalance on M5. So there's the order block that just happened, the last candle, and we've got that imbalance. So, fellow traders, once again, you know, if you're going to learn something, if you want to learn something, you've got to be willing to learn. And that means you've got to come to the table, to the classroom with an empty mind and a blank sheet of paper, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So, go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.